On the 28th of February 2026, the Middle East ignited as the United States and Israel unleashed a massive, preemptive joint military strike against Iran. Tehran's retaliation was swift and merciless. Within mere hours, Iran fired a barrage of roughly a dozen ballistic missiles directly at Qatar's Al Udeid airbase, the largest American military installation in the entire region. As the skies burned, Israel instantly locked down, declaring a nationwide state of emergency. Air raid sirens screamed across the entire country. Commercial airspace was completely shuttered, and hospitals scrambled frantically to evacuate patients into fortified underground bunkers. The war is no longer a threat looming on the horizon, it is officially here. Don't take your eyes off the screen until the secret is revealed. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you for watching. In the dead of night, at exactly 2:30 a.m., the president delivered a chilling 8-minute video address that sent shockwaves across the globe, officially confirming that the United States military had launched major combat operations inside Iran. Delivering the message with uncompromising resolve, the commander-in-chief laid out the grim justification for this unprecedented offensive. For 47 agonizing years, the radical Iranian regime has chanted death to America, waging a relentless campaign of bloodshed and terror. Worse, they had aggressively attempted to rebuild their catastrophic nuclear weapons program, threatening the U.S. and its allies. The time for diplomatic appeasement had officially ended. Outlining a blistering and absolute set of strategic objectives, the president made it clear this is a mission of total eradication. The U.S. Armed forces have been unleashed to systematically hunt down and destroy Iran's entire missile stockpile, completely raze its sprawling missile manufacturing industry to the ground, and absolutely annihilate the Iranian Navy. The message was deafeningly clear. America's overwhelming military might has been deployed to neutralize this decades-long threat once and for all. Behind closed doors, this was never a spontaneous reaction, it was a ruthless masterclass in military deception and absolute precision. Israel designated their standalone, lethal airstrikes as Operation Roaring Lion, but the broader, earth-shattering joint offensive with American forces was ominously codenamed Operation Shield of Judah. This overwhelming blitzkrieg wasn't cooked up overnight, it was meticulously calculated, war-gamed, and permanently locked into the strike calendar weeks in advance. But the most chilling factor was the ultimate diplomatic sleight of hand. While top U.S. envoys were actively sitting at the negotiating table in Geneva, maintaining the illusion of peace talks and exchanging messages through mediators, the crosshairs were already painted squarely on Tehran's leadership. The diplomatic back and forth acted as a perfectly executed smokescreen. When the stealth bombers and cruise missiles finally unleashed hell, they struck with the devastating element of total surprise, catching the Iranian regime completely off guard just as they arrogantly believed they were buying more time. The deadly trap had been set for months, and the jaws finally snapped shut with zero warning. The sheer scale of the devastation was absolute as American and Israeli firepower rained down, drawing a massive map of destruction across 7 major Iranian cities. Plumes of thick black smoke choked the skies over Tehran, Isfahan, Qom, Lorestan, Karaj, Kermanshah, and Tabriz. In the capital city of Tehran, the Allied blitzkrieg struck at the very nerve center of the regime's power structure. Precision-guided missiles hammered the immediate vicinity of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's administrative offices, pounded the sprawling presidential complex, and decimated the highly fortified intelligence headquarters of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC. Panic consumed the region as commercial aviation ground to a dead halt, with the airspace over both Iran and neighboring Iraq instantly and completely shuttered. Amidst the blazing inferno, the 86-year-old Supreme Leader was frantically evacuated to a highly secure, classified location. Yet, the retreat offered no real sanctuary. American intelligence already possessed his exact coordinates, with the president publicly declaring that the U.S. knew exactly where Khamenei was hiding, chillingly branding the Supreme Leader an easy target. Unlike the telegraphed, largely performative strikes seen during the 1-2-day war in June 2025, Iran's tactical playbook has fundamentally and terrifyingly shifted. This time, the gloves are completely off. There were no back-channel warnings. No advance notice to evacuate, just raw, bolt-from-the-blue kinetic retaliation slamming into American bases. Backed into an absolute corner with their very survival on the line, Tehran's desperate leadership has completely abandoned measured, symbolic responses. Their new chilling directive is to inflict maximum costs across the board, launching rapid, devastating missile barrages aimed squarely at the United States, Israel, and allied Arab nations. It is a scorched earth strategy designed to bleed their enemies as heavily as possible before the regime collapses. The sheer unpredictability of this massive escalation was grimly summarized by an Iranian member of parliament who issued a chilling declaration online as the skies lit up with incoming fire. The U.S. and Israel have recklessly stepped onto a dark path, and its ultimate end is no longer in your control. The Middle East is now plunging headfirst into an unrestrained, multi-front inferno where the old rules of engagement have been completely incinerated. Despite suffering catastrophic losses to its long-range arsenal during the 1-2-day war in June 2025, Iran relentlessly clawed its way back. Intelligence estimates reveal Tehran has aggressively reconstituted a lethal stockpile of roughly 1,000 to 1,200 missiles. Right now, Israeli warplanes are actively hunting and attempting to obliterate their elusive mobile launchers before they can deploy their payloads. However, the most immediate and terrifying kinetic threat to American forces isn't the long-range weapons, it is Iran's massive, largely untouched arsenal of short and medium-range ballistic and cruise missiles. These munitions are engineered for absolute devastation. They boast blisteringly short flight times and strike with a velocity that makes them incredibly difficult for standard air defense batteries to track and intercept. This puts thousands of deployed U.S. service members directly in the crosshairs. American military installations across the Persian Gulf spanning strategic bases in Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Bahrain are sitting squarely within the kill zone of these rapid strike weapons. The entire region is a powder keg, and American troops are navigating an imminent 360-degree missile threat. The Persian Gulf has rapidly transformed into a claustrophobic maritime powder keg. Two of America's most formidable naval armadas, the USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike groups, are navigating a highly confined, target-rich environment. In these narrow waters, thousands of deployed U.S. sailors are staring down a lethal 360-degree gauntlet of Iranian asymmetric threats, including swarms of explosive-laden fast attack boats, elusive diesel-electric submarines, and coastal anti-ship cruise missiles. The ultimate choke point in this high-stakes standoff is the Strait of Hormuz. Acting as the absolute jugular vein of the global economy, this narrow waterway facilitates a staggering 20% of the world's daily oil supply, roughly 20 million barrels every single day. Now, that vital lifeline is under imminent threat of being severed by Iranian sea mines and missile barrages. Wall Street is already modeling doomsday scenarios. If this critical strait is effectively choked off, financial experts warn that global crude prices will violently skyrocket past the $100 per barrel mark, threatening to send catastrophic shockwaves crashing through the American and global economy. Beyond incoming missiles, a terrifying shadow war has detonated. Iran is aggressively launching devastating cyber attacks to paralyze America's civilian power grids, alongside relentless disinformation campaigns. Meanwhile, adversarial superpowers Russia and China won't deploy troops, but they are ruthlessly utilizing economic warfare and arms transfers to bleed U.S. forces. The clock is ticking. The decisions made in the next 72 critical hours, including the activation of lethal proxies like Hezbollah and the Houthis, will dictate whether this remains a contained strike or erupts into an unstoppable, apocalyptic Middle Eastern inferno.